Y'all wanted a story time on why I moved to Houston for a man. Oh, I'm embarrassed, kinda, a little bit. It was a learning experience. You might have to watch this in 2x because I'm not skipping any details. I won't say I necessarily moved here for him, but I moved with the intention of having him. For the sake of storytelling, we're gonna call him Aaron because I've been watching Love Island and it kind of just makes sense. I need the bowl and all the candy because this is a trauma dump at this point. Aaron and I met in college. So we met through a mutual friend and then we kind of started developing our own relationship, which kind of makes it even harder because we were actually very good friends. And I realized I was catching feelings for this man, but he was always with somebody, right? And there's one thing I am not, it's a homewrecker. If you got a girlfriend, whether I like her or not, you have a girlfriend. I know my place, I'm gonna stay in it. When the time is right, you're gonna find your way home, it's okay. When he was single, I always picked up like flirty vibes, but then again, I'm not one to like make the first move. I like to be the approached and not the approacher. This man was in my phone talking crazy. I think it was like 2020 or 2021, something like that. He moved to Houston. Turns out they were in an on-again, off-again relationship. At this point, it was just off. I thought they were broken up. He ended up getting back with his ex. I got my feelings hurt. Whatever. I made a video on TikTok, explaining what happened, and he wanted to have a conversation. So I was in Houston at the time for like the little mentoring event that I had, and you know, I invited him over. We talked about it. We cleared the air. This is when like the Delulu really like light switch kicked on. He told me if I lived in Houston, we could explore a romantic relationship. I do know clearly from God that he was telling me that it was time for me to move out of my parents' house. Now, was he telling me to move to Houston? No. I just think it's so important that when you hear from God, you hear everything, because sometimes there's commas and we want to put a period where there's supposed to be a comma. I moved out here like the very end of August, beginning of September of 2023. Me and Aaron were operating as a couple and I was ecstatic. I loved it. We've been playing situationship for 2-3 years. So I'm like, now's our time to shine. Like, it's finally happening, you guys. I did it. We did it, Joe. We did not do it. Another red flag I should have known is I practiced abstinence, some form of abstinence up until I moved to Houston. But when I was with that man, abstinence out the window. I said, what, huh? Not that Aaron wasn't respectful of my boundaries, but I was not respectful to myself because I allowed him to throw me off of my spiritual journey. And I had to realize that God is so much more important than a relationship. God is so much more important than a man who chose his ex over you twice and then you moved out here and now you're throwing away your relationship with God to be with a man who isn't even your man. I was never his girlfriend. Stand up, Talitha, stand up. And let me tell you something. I stood on business. I said, look here, sir, you're great. I think I love you, but I love God a little bit more and I want to be abstinent. I'm practicing abstinence till I'm married. And if that's not something you're on board with, we're gonna have to end this. We had conversations about marriage, about kids, about a future. And I moved out here with the expectation of a serious relationship. And I'm not faulting him, but I'm faulting myself for not being able to communicate what I want and then walk away sooner. Not everything you go through, God puts you through, but everything you go through, God will use it. I still pray for him. I still wish him the best. I hope that whoever he's with, if he's with somebody, that he treats her well and that they get married and that he gets the wife in the relationship and everything that he deserves. It just wasn't me. And that's okay. It happens. It's a part of life. This is just a story of growing up and making decisions that lead to growth, but it's fine because we're here now. Oh, cute. Cute little face beat. Face God never declined, my God. This is not the video. Oh, hold on. I already know there's going to be people who stitch this video and use it to weaponize me even further, but I'm gonna just be real with y'all. Usually I try not to, it's gotten to the point where I don't even use TikTok anymore because every time I open up this freaking app, it is Talitha Jane hate. The main topic I was seeing was my content is so centered around a man. My content is centered around the pain and the hurt that a man caused me, so now I am learning to love myself effectively. Imagine getting closer to God because after being sexually assaulted and getting your heart broken, you don't know what else to do. So you rely on God And then people think your self-love journey is a ploy to get a man, when in reality you want nothing to do with the man. And all the things that you see your dad give your mom every single day. So you learn to do that for yourself. And instead of inspiring other people to do the same, they hate you for it. I've always been close with God. My dad's a pastor. My mom's a first lady. I grew up in the church, but it wasn't until recently, depressed in a new city by myself, that I really relied on God. Oh my gosh. And when God brings you out of a depression, when you are alone 24/7 in a city that you don't like, of course you're going to talk about what God did for you. Why wouldn't you? And it just, like, it pains me so much that you guys think I'm that shallow. I'm tired of feeling inadequate in those spaces, so I want to learn to do it myself. Jesus. Did I have to learn the hard way? Yeah. And the whole reason I document those things is because I know I'm not the only person who's actually really cared for someone who they weren't in a relationship with. I learned how to love myself through that process. If there's two things I'm never going to apologize for, one, it's loving God publicly. Second, I've been close with God pretty much my entire life, but it wasn't until I moved out here and everything happened that I have gotten super close with God and realized that, wow, God is actually amazing, and I need to start living my life to reflect that. It's really not that deep. It's not all about a man. It stems from an experience I had with a man, but more so it's about who do I want to become after that? Who do I want to be now that that's over? I have a headache from crying. This is ridiculous. Regardless of what anyone thinks, regardless of what anyone has to say, I still love y'all. I'm gonna still ride for the black and brown girls. I'm gonna still show up every day, even if people stop showing up for me. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, and you can take away whatever you want. I was about to do my hair. I just got it cut into a bob today. Didn't plan on getting on the internet and crying, but oh man.
Don't forget to follow me, Style by Sheena, on all my social media platforms just to stay in the loop.